Afternoon. I'm Jason Thomas, Project Portfolio Coordinator at America Makes. I'm going to be joined today by my colleague, America Makes Technical Director, Brandon Ribick. Thank you for joining us today. We at America Makes are excited to kick off the February 2021 Rapid Innovation Project Call. Just a few important notes before we kick off the webinar. At the end of the presentation, there will be a question and answer session. So if during the presentation you have a question, please submit it in the Q&A space on your WebEx screen, and we'll do our best to answer it during the Q&A. All of the questions and answers will be posted to the Q&A page on the America Makes website under the February 2021 Rapid Innovation Call. Okay, so this Rapid Innovation Call will be a one-step project call, which means there will be no concept paper. So a full project proposal is required upon submission. So it's important shortened proposal response format, which is outlined in the RFP. The RFP can be downloaded from the America Makes website. And once again, for this Rapid Innovation Call, all team members must be America Makes members. So this schedule outlines the important dates that you need to consider. The project call was announced and posted to the website on February 9th. The project call kickoff webinar today on the 18th. Questions from proposers about scope or approach were due 2 days ago, and we will be putting those on the web page tomorrow on the 19th. The deadline for all team members to be America Makes members is also tomorrow on the 19th. And if you do need to have a fully executed NDA with NCDMM, that is also due by tomorrow. Full project proposal submission due date is on March 1st, and we anticipate that we'll make a decision and notify project teams on the 15th of March. We would like to have all projects on contract on April 31st. And then all deliverables and the final report will be due no later than August 31st, 2021. Okay, so I'd like to welcome Brandon Ribick, who is going to help us with the topics.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, it's great to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. So I'll kind of walk through the three topics that the RFP outlines. Granted, I will not belabor this discussion, but provide an overview. And of course, the RFP contains way more detail than what's in the slide pack here today. So please make sure to download that and review that as well. So for the first topic, it's focused on characterization of metal AM process surface features. And I want to be very clear about what we mean when we say surface features. They include a variety of surfaces which may be considered, and those are outlined at the bottom of the slide here. So they may actually be facets of the product surface condition, or a coupon, or a representative component surface condition. It may facilitate the evaluation of roughness or waviness, distortion, understanding the geometries or the variation in average or mean surfaces that are created as a result of spreading of feedstock, not just the morphology of the feedstock or the variation of the effective diameter of that feedstock or the variation within the size distribution, as well as understanding, as I kind of alluded to, the variation in the layer geometry or the mean layer geometry of unconsolidated powder, as well as the consolidated component. Furthermore, responses may look to understand or develop a quantitative relationship between solid and liquid material surfaces, or solid or liquid material surfaces, and how those would pertain to factors either directly or indirectly pertaining to product quality, yield, or cost. And so, recognizing I want to first and foremost be very clear what we mean in the RFP by surface features. So it's not limited to what may be referred to in like an ASME standard about surface finish only. It's a variety of features that are under consideration here in metal AM processes. And recognizing that there's a lot of factors at play here, right? It's not just the process parameters themselves, but the feedstock plays a role, and considering the fact that there are a variety of physical processes at play, which are outlined on the slide as well as in the RFP, this is really a means to deriving direct or indirect understanding of those processes and the impact they have on largely quality, cost, and yield. Next slide, please, Jason. So things to think about in terms of response to this topic. We're encouraging folks to consider the following. Outlining an approach, it's going to be very important, I'll say, to outline an approach which talks about the development and demonstration and documentation of your method or of a method. As I mentioned, it could be directly or indirectly monitoring these surface features. It could be conducted, it may be conducted in a continuous or layer-wise fashion, and it could use one or more monitoring techniques. It's encouraged that this method should include various facets in terms of the documentation or the method that's described, including factors like the build design, how the demonstration is set up, or how the sensing framework is designed, bill of materials, so hardware or software, any procedures, analysis, and materials. And we are highly encouraging these approaches be either demonstrated directly in commercially available equipment with commercially available sensor systems, or be readily scalable to current commercially available systems. Next slide, please, Jason. Thank you, sir. So topic 2 is not an unfamiliar concept. There's been discussions in numerous public forum over the last 2 to 3 years about the idea of part families. In fact, the community is wrapping up the latter stages of what is called maturation of advanced manufacturing for low-cost sustainment, a major program at America Makes. And these efforts all deal with the idea of, is there a means by which we can build out a qualification or certification protocol where those practices, those necessary considerations pertain, but not to one part or part number, but a family of part numbers? And what are the necessary considerations that go into such a qualification and certification framework? That's really the focus of this topic. So the idea of trying to develop and refine and validate once, but use many, many times. Now, I think numerous folks have heard of this concept, but really the focus here is to build out the necessary considerations that pertain to how do we really bring definition, how do we bring consensus, and ultimately, how could this feed into information to share throughout the community, either in the form of a report or a draft standard is what's outlined in the RFP. But ultimately, the goal being to step away from point-based design or qualification and certification solutions and looking to be able to apply those practices to a variety of part IDs. Next slide, please. So responses to this, there are a variety of factors that can be considered in a response. And of course, I highlighted some of them. So the criteria to actually establishing a part family, or the considerations for when a part family may be used. So thinking around the behavior of the product in terms of the function it performs in a relevant operating environment, or how that may be defined, or outlining common or unique attributes within a part family. That's also, those ideas have been presented in forum, but really what we're looking for is outlined in the RFP of a more consensus-based approach, or something that leads to greater awareness within the community and drives consensus within the community to make full use of these types of approaches. There's a long list of considerations here. I won't belabor and read the slides. These slides will be posted to the website and made available. And in addition, this language is adopted directly from the RFP for your future reference. Next slide, please. The third topic outlines the use of test artifacts for the characterization of in situ process monitoring systems. So, thanks to great work within the additive manufacturing community, we've seen the merits of the production of representative geometries or test artifacts and understanding the geometric capabilities of additive manufacturing processes to date. The NIST artifact is a great example of that. So these standard geometries are produced utilizing a variety of additive manufacturing modalities in order to assess interrelationships of the nature of the process to the end product geometry and how close that geometry can come to a desired target. In the case of this topic, we're encouraging proposers to adopt a similar approach, or a complementary approach to that. But in order to understand the behavior of process monitoring systems. So what we're asking for is an artifact design or a range of representative and relevant features be demonstrated for the purposes of understanding the limitations that occur in a relevant operating environment for various process monitoring methods. It's hoped that these types of endeavors would allow for comparison between different monitoring systems, as well as a means of quantitatively assessing system capability, sensitivity, and of course, repeatability. Next slide, please. And so in terms of responses to this topic, we're encouraging folks to outline an approach which not only documents, but develops and demonstrates a test artifact or a set of geometric features in order to characterize the performance of these monitoring systems. In terms of the processes of interest, they're metal-based, commercially available additive manufacturing systems, and several of the process types are outlined here. So laser and electron beam powder bed fusion, as well as directed energy deposition. And then we also provide a subset of the considerations. The full list is in the RFP. It's much longer than this, for folks to consider and build a part of their technical approach in order to substantiate the value and the merit of their approach. And when we say value, the value that it presents to the membership. So I want to highly encourage everyone here to remember that the point of the Rapid Innovation Call is to benefit the membership. Next slide, Jason. I think this is Jason. So thank you all for your attention.
All right, thank you very much, Brandon. Okay, so moving on to the funding description. So the total awards that will be given in this project call is $185,000, which will be broken up over the 3 topics. The topic 1 will be a max of $50,000. Topic 2 will be a max of $75,000, and topic 3 will be a max of $60,000. Moving on to cost share. So for topic 1, there is no cost share requirement. Topic 2 will have a 25% cost share requirement. So you can look at it like if you're going to spend $1, we would need 25 cents added to that in cost share for a total of $1.25. And the max allowed period of performance is going to be 4 months. Shorter periods are acceptable, but that will be broken into 3 months of technical performance and 1 month for reporting. And once again, on this rapid innovation call, like the last, no extensions will be considered. Now, the faster you can get on contract and get through that, you might be able to get a longer period of performance by getting through contracting more quickly. Moving on to the minimum deliverables. So, like I said earlier, it'll be due on August 31st, no later. There's no non-negotiable. That is a deadline. So the written final report will be due on that date, and we will need to do at least one round of revision completed with the PM with your NCDMM PM prior to the final submission. You'll have to do financial and man-hour reports monthly. Would also like to have project update on a monthly basis, and you'll be required to do at least one presentation at a TRX or MMX event. If we can't fit that in, a webinar is an option as well. Another requirement on this rapid innovation call will be that the lead organization shall participate on at least one working group, advisory group, steering committee, relevant to the subject matter of the project. So what that means is one person from the project team will be required to take one person from the project team will be required to participate in at least one work group, advisory group, or steering committee, and the hours will need to be tracked and put into the reports. You also need to have a good data management plan, key performance parameters, planned project deliverables list with corresponding technology roadmap requirements, and also new roadmap requirements if applicable. And those will need to be finalized at least 1 month after the award. Okay, moving on to reporting. I think we just talked about this in the last slide. So the only difference I see here is we would like to have a review of the data management plan and execution of that data management plan at least prior to the end of the POP. I don't see anything different on there. So moving on to the proposal evaluation criteria, like Brandon said earlier, please read the RFP closely and look for all the requirements. The technical approach will be granted from 0 to 30%, and delivery and management will be granted 0 to 70%. All right, so that'll do it for the presentation. I think I'll take some questions. I'm going to start with a question that we did receive through email. And that question was, does America Makes have a preference on materials, alloys, alloy families used for research on the topics? So I think we don't have a preference on materials, but the alloy choice should be substantiated using examples which demonstrate its relevance to the needs of one or more industries. Another question that we got through email was, is the cost of Powerball for cost sharing on research topics 2 and 3? The answer for this is yes, it can be used as cost share as long as it's not paid for with government funding. Okay, so the next question, does America Makes have a preference on the AM parameter ranges for building, lack of fusion regime, keyhole regime, ideal process window, etc.? We have a preference on a particular flaw type or processing regime. Similarly, the relevance of processing regime or discontinuity types should be substantiated so that it is relevant to the broader needs of the industry and membership. Okay, so moving on to a question that we did receive here during the webinar. I think, Brandon, I'm going to need some help for you on this one. This was from topic 1. The question was, what do you mean by evolution of the surface?
Yeah, so this is a great question. So when I say evolution, what we're referring to is the ability to observe and measure variation within the spatial evolution as a function of time or as a function of time. So and again, we may even be talking about temperature as well, right? So we mentioned that it could include indirect or direct not necessarily prescribing. These are but considerations, right? So if you're to refer to the RFP, it says that approaches may include all or some, but not limited to the following. And so when I talk about evolution, what I mean there is spatial and temporal variation, and tracking that for a given surface's condition, be it shape, temperature, whatever.
All right, thank you, Brandon. We got another question here. Is this solely for alloys and metals? For example, SLA liquid-based polymer systems are used in medical devices. In response to number 2, product types, will proposals be accepted on polymer-based systems? Could you help me out here, Brandon? I can't remember which topic it was that we wanted to focus on alloys.
So for topics 1 and 3, I believe topic 1, the title is metal AM surface features. So it is, asking about metals. In the case of topic 3, we are talking about metal additive manufacturing as well. So we defined laser powder bed fusion, electron beam powder bed fusion, and directed energy deposition. In terms of topic 2, I think we would welcome, a response there that demonstrates the merit and necessity and value of a part family qualification and certification approach that could be as applicable to as many applications or industries as possible. If the team feels that a particular material or material system is more suited for that, or that's a necessary underlying consideration, that is for them to decide and provide evidence in their response that substantiates such an approach. But there's no language in the RFP that prescribes a particular material type or base alloy or anything like that for topic 2, to my recollection.
All right, thank you, Brandon. Let me see if we have any more questions that came in here. I don't see any in the Q&A. Let's go ahead and check the chat. All right, we did get a couple of questions here in the chat. For topic number 2 on building QNC protocol for part families, do we target a specific industry? I don't think that a specific industry needs to be targeted. If you feel that it's going to benefit many industries and that it's going to be relevant, I think that's what we're looking for. And let's see, for topic 3, can computational methods be used to evolve the artifact design for in-process artifact development? I think that if the proposer feels that that's valuable, we would be happy to see that in the proposal. All right, so I don't see any more questions coming in here. Like I said earlier, all of these questions and answers will be posted to the America Makes website under the February 2021 Rapid Innovation Call. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. The slide pack and the presentation will also be posted on the website, so if you would like to revisit it, feel welcome to do so. Thank you very much. Have a good day.